There's a full basement.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right there, right there.
Just gotta look at the kitchen real quick.
Yeah, take your time. We're doing a little live show here.
Hey, everybody. I'm here with Angelo Picozzi, who's a real estate agent on Shelter Island in the Hamptons, where we are right now, at a new house. And I'm just going to ask Angelo a few questions about what it's like being a broker in the Hamptons during COVID, because it's been a pretty insane market here, to say the least, in the past 9 months. And why don't you just start off by giving me a little bit of what your experience has been with people fleeing New York City?
Well, it's been very exciting, especially since March when COVID hit New York City and people were looking for a safe haven. Shelter Island is only 90 miles from New York City, so it became a perfect spot for people to either rent or look to buy to get out of the city and find a safe place to work from and to get their kids back into school, because the East End schools are still in session out here.
Were you surprised by how quickly properties started getting snatched up and what?
We were very surprised. I mean, the market was strong to begin with, but this put it into hyper mode. And people were coming out here and going into bidding wars. It was like 2008 all over again out here, but with a sense of urgency that people needed to get out of the city, to get out of the COVID environment.
And what did you usually, did you typically see families, or what was the typical kind of
A lot of families, yeah, a lot of people with young children. I think they were locked up in the apartments in New York, and having the children around while they were trying to work was getting a bit much. So when they got out here, they were looking for homes with, believe it or not, more bedrooms that became office spaces. Where 5 years ago, people were looking to downsize or right size because they didn't need a big house. All of a sudden, larger homes became more popular out here.
And in terms of, in terms of the market itself, it was no longer essentially a luxury market, became a market of necessity.
Exactly.
So what?
And vacation homes became no longer vacation homes. It became, like you say, a home for this to get out of the city. Our summer market just became almost a year-round market here.
And what did that do to prices?
Well, prices definitely firmed up. Negotiating became more on the seller side. They became more powerful. But what I noticed is buyers that are coming out here are not going to pay more than market or very little more. People were saying, oh, my neighbor got 50% more for his house. It was a rare case, but I'd say 90 to 95% of the homes were selling at market, a little bit above or a little bit below, but it wasn't this real, like the prices were going off the charts.
Right. So, for example, this house, if you could just talk a little bit about like what you think the value of this house would have been pre-COVID and what it is now.
Okay.
And you can walk us
point.
around and show us a little bit.
Okay. Well, this house was renovated last year. They upgraded the kitchen. They've updated the heating system, the swimming pool. Floors have been resanded. House has been totally repainted. Now, this house pre-COVID might have gone around 175. We've got it listed for 1250, so it's not drastically higher, but it's at a price where they'll probably get their full ask, then going down to maybe a 975 or something, which was like back in 2012 when the market collapsed. So prices are firm, but they're not crazy. So this house is priced very close to market, I would say.
And what advice do you have, if any, to?
Good question. That's a good question. Especially because this COVID environment, may not last more than another year or so. It's smart to pay attention to the comparables in the market and try to purchase a house that's close to market. Don't go throwing your money away only to find out maybe in a couple of years this market is quieted down because people have looked elsewhere to purchase, and then you're left holding a house that might be overpriced. So buy with value in mind and purchase a house that's close to market price, and you'll do fine. Shelter Island's always been a great market, and usually you'll see a good return as long as you buy the property correctly.
And for viewers who aren't familiar with Shelter Island, can you talk a little bit about its history?
Oh, okay. Well, where do we begin? Back in the 1650s?
What happened?
Well, 1650s, three merchants owned the island, sugar merchants, and they purchased the island primarily for the white oaks on the island for the barrels, for the sugar. But Shelter Island really came in its own back in the 1870s when it became a tourist destination for most of the folks in Boston and New York City. And since then, we never looked back. It's always been a great tourist destination or second homeowner destination. Plenty of boating and sailing and golf and tennis and bicycle riding. It's probably one of the safest and cleanest places to live in the world.
Do you think, in terms of appreciation, a house like this will almost certainly appreciate? Is it like putting money in the bank, or?
Well, better than putting money in the bank, because the last time I checked, my banker's given me 0.05% on a dollar. So, I would say a house on Shelter Island easily over the years has gained 3 to 5%, no problem. Some 10 to 15, more so on the waterfront side, but the inland houses constantly turn 3 to 5%, no problem.
All right, we're going to wrap up in a second. But the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is, can you just walk us out to the back
Sure.
and tell us your favorite thing about this house?
Oh, well, the outside of the house is lovely just as much as the inside. We have a beautiful 45 by 15 foot gunite heated swimming pool, cute little cabana house for the swimming pool. The property's on 3/4 of an acre. And like I said, it's been totally redone. It's got a beautiful 2.5 car garage. And at 1250, it's priced very close to market. I think it will probably sell in the next week or so.
Um, it's the fall leaves coming down, and if their viewers are interested in buying this house, can you tell them the address and how to find you?
Yeah, they can Google search it at 32 St. Mary's Road, Shelter Island, New York, 11964. That's 32 St. Mary's Road, Shelter Island, New York, 11965. And we have a virtual tour there, photos, and come visit us too on Shelter Island.
Unless I buy it, but